right, people. It's not my, but people of. So it said this stereo is connecting these two nouns, so forming a construct chain. So the people of, what is it? Edit the land. So should be modifying the preceding word with the definite article here. So in this case, all the people of the land. So what do we mean by they? 3CPL. So it refers to all the people of the land. So this is the subject of the main verb. So our translation from the beginning to here is, and all the people of the land will see. See what? That, right? That. What is this? Shem Adonai,
Name of the Lord.
Name of the
right?
Lord.
Name of the Lord. So since the Lord is definite, we need to put the before name. So the name of the Lord. All right, and then we have this one. And how do you recognize it? How do you analyze it? I think you know all the root letters. Kara, which means to what? To what? To call, right? Then what about stem? What about form? Form. It's okay to say, oh, prefix form.
Default. Oh, sorry.
Prefix.
No, it's okay.
Affix.
Uh, you mean prefix because of ni, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this is tricky. Today it is the Nephi stand. So in fact, if you look at the noon appearing before a Hebrew verb, then the first thing that you came across could be the idea of prefix form. Am I right? One CPN. But in this case, this is not the prefix pronoun, but the preformative nun and hirek for nifal. So as I said, hirek comes with the preformative he. So nifal will come with the preformative ni. So today, if we have to pay attention to the difference between what is it? The preformative ni and one CPL prefix pronoun. I think this is quite important for us to recognize. So we will just talk about it. So as I said, this one is Nephi stem because of preformative ni. And we will talk about the difference between, as I said, the preformative ni and then the pile prefix 1CPL form. Okay? So then, as I said, this one is prefix. And just take out the ni. And what do we have? We have nothing. Are you following me? Except me. Then what is it? Must be 3MSG of fixed form. Is that clear? Okay, let's move on. 3MSG of fixed form and non-special feature and meaning. What is the nuance of the five?
Passive.
Yeah, passive of the card. So we
Oh,
have three stems that are passive. That is Nephi and Puai, the passive of PL, and then Hophai, and the passive form of Hifil. So Nephi is the passive form of the card stem. Okay, so then what is the meaning of Kara? Cold.
to
So the
call.
meaning is be cold. So having three msg suffix, I mean subject, then we need to put it or he
He was
or
called.
it. And what about the tense for a fixed form?
Past tense.
past,
Past
Past
does eat
tense.
or he was
cold,
cold. Is that clear? All
yes,
right. So what do we mean by he or it? The name of the Lord. Okay? Was cold. And what is this? All ka. I ka. I means the preposition, right? Meaning
upon
upon
you,
you. So that's it. Then let's move on to the slide.
Oh, Professor,
Yeah.
just saying if it was a prefix, but it was still 3 MSG, um, because it's passive, when you interpret the meaning, what would you put it for? Like, how you're saying he was called, but if you put in prefix because it's future tense or incomplete action, how would you put a passive? How would you put it in passive meaning into like a
Okay.
incomplete
He
action?
will be cold or it will be cold.
Okay, that's simple. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Samson. So now we have be la u and la carafix recipient verb reverse when they will see. So the translation of all given words are and all the people of the land will see. Okay, meaning of the Nephi. Kanae, would you read, please?
Yes. The Nifal stem is used to express simple action with either a passive or reflexive voice. Frequently, whatever a verb means in the Kal stem, it becomes passive or reflexive in the Nifal stem. Kal of Shama, he heard. Nifal, Nishema, he was heard. Passive or he heard himself. Reflexive. The Nifal may also be used with a reciprocal, meaning as in Nishemeu, they heard one another.
Thank you. Right. As I said, the first meaning of Nephi stem is function of Nephi stem is to express simple action with either a passive or reflexive voice. So it's not really accurate or to fix the meaning of Nephi only to a passive voice. So it has even reflexive voice. What do you mean by reflexive? You do some action to yourself. So normally, something like if you want to use the word of speaking, then you can say you speak to yourself. Okay, but passive is quite obvious as we translate it as be called or be spoken. Okay, so that is the idea. And frequently, whatever verb means in the current stem, it becomes passive or reflexive in the Nepal stem. Yeah, the example is a shamar. So in Kal, it means he heard. Nepal, he was heard. It was passive. Or reflexive, he heard himself. So you need to see the difference between the passive and reflexive voices. Okay. But I think that it's quite safe for us to consider, I mean, to use the passive voice many times, okay, most of the times. But please just be aware of this another possibility of reflexive voice. The Nephi may also be used with the reciprocal meaning as in Nishemu. They heard one another. So this is another usage. So you do something between in a certain group or a pair of people one another. Okay, let's deal with Nifal of fix. On the left side we have Kal, and then we have Nifal on the right side. If we are dealing with a fixed form, then what do we expect? I always highlight that, especially 3 MSG must carry the sounds of the stem name, especially the vowel sound. Do you remember? So, being or being called as a nifal, then it should carry all those vowel pointing. And what are they? Ni in the beginning. So we have ni. Al. Can you see that? Ni, al. I, al. Ni, al. Nepal. Are you following me? So we have Nepal. So this one is not Nepal, but I'm talking about Nepal, and then this one is Katal. So Niktal, Niktal. Okay. So you need to remember this ni. Of course, ni, the preformative ni is the most important indicator for the five stem. And at the same time, secondary points are important as well. As we try to see the difference between this 3 MSG D5 and what? 1CPL CAL. So now, if you have your verb chart, let's go there and then let's take a look at it. We'll come back to this. So what do you need to remember here? Just preformative ni and shua and pata. Not all the time. As you can see, that 3 FSG is taking shua and shua. Are you following me? But most of the time it works. Okay. Let me go back to the verb chart, Hebrew verb chart. We need to go to the strong verb and then kal prefix form. Okay. We have A group, U group, and those three in the beginning, these three are all mm, affixed by strong verb, and we will just to go down. Okay, let's look at prefix form. We'll take ni, just the one CPL, ni, shua, and holem. So the third verb, look at this. I group Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Seems like it affected all people on campus. Okay, let's just wait for them. Oh, this is a problem. So yeah, let's look at this. Generally speaking, when it comes to R group, actually R is one of the most commonly used Hebrew verb. So in that case, what is it? The vowel point for the second root letter is supposed to be holem. So in that sense, it's it's obvious. It's just straightforward. So whenever you see holem above the second root letter together with ni in the beginning, then you need to consider it as prefix form for 1CPL, strong and high. But unfortunately, ni pu a i shu, the hirek, shua, pata even can appear for O group and I group reward. So in that case, what are you going to do? Just you need to pay attention to the context. Okay, so that's it. So that's why I told you DeFi is quite challenging because we have a lot of things to consider to recognize NIFI stem, the NIFI stem successfully. But anyway, so that's it. Let me then go back to the PowerPoint again. You- Okay. Anyway, here you know that the word katal. So whatever is called like what is it? What is the good example? Shama is what is it? Shama is a group, right? So the vowel points are sound. And what about yare? It's e group, a sound. So if you pay attention to the vowel point for the second root letter, then you can recognize if this one is A group or E group or O group. Okay, depending on it, if you are dealing with a A group Hebrew verb, then this idea should be working. So hirek, shua, and pata works for it. And let's look at this. But when it comes to other PGN like 3FSG, 2MSG and 2MPL and other things except 3MSG, then it has its own unique ending, right? Isn't it? So it has a, ta, t, ti, u, tem, tem, nu. Then is it possible for them to have this ni that looks like prefix pronoun? Then that's conflict, right? What is right? If you have ni in the beginning and then ending, so you have two possibilities. Looking at the ni, then you think, oh, this one must be prefix pronoun. And then looking at the he ending, oh, it must be a fixed pronoun. And what is right? In this case, you are going to prioritize a fixed form because as we are dealing with the possibility of Nephi stem, the preformative ni serves as the indicator of Nephi stem, as a he ending is the specific ending for a fixed form. So what I'm telling you is this. You have atatuti utemtem nu ending together with the ni in the beginning, then that's quite straightforward. What are they? It must be Nephi stem and affix form. Why? Because the ni cannot be the prefix pronoun. Is that clear? Are you following me? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying if you have atatiti utemtum nu ending, then that's the affix form. And if you have ni in the beginning, then do not consider it as prefix 1CPL because you cannot have both. at the same time, right? Then ni should be the the diagnostic of Nephi stem. Is that clear? Okay. But 3MSG has which are all the vowel pointing. But once again, it doesn't always work. It only works for A group. Okay. Uh, Let me see. And then it says the need stem preformative in every form. Shua under the first root letter and pata about under the second root letter. Can you hear me now? Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good, good, good. We have a situation here again. But anyway, let's just move on then. Uh, okay, I need to share. Okay, so I was talking about the indicators of knee past stem. So the preformative knee is important, and shua under the first root letter, and pata vowel under the second root consonant in all forms except the 3FS and then 3CPL. Okay, meaning of the Nephi, the name Nephi will remind you that every verb wait a minute. Okay. Stem, a knee prefix. This prefix is unique to the Nephi stem and so distinguishes it from the other verbal stems. So, in terms of the usage of Nephi, it occurs 4,142 times in the Hebrew Bible. It occurs in the affix form 1,434 times, prefix 1,545 times, imperative 118 times, infinitive construct 206 times, infinitive absolute 36 times, and participle 803 times. Okay, so in terms of the frequency of the Nephi stem, most of the time it will be used either in a fixed form or in the prefix form. And the third one is participle form. Okay, let me move on. Okay, there you go. This internet is a big problem, so we need to really solve the problem. But anyway, yeah, let's just move on. Oh, people are joining.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back. Oh, this is not easy, huh?
Sir,
Anyway,
can I request all the recording for
today's today's lecture. Albert, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
can I request all our recording lesson on
YouTube.
YouTube, please?
All right. So I'm going to ask the IT guy to do it today. Okay.
Okay,
But yeah.
thank
Oh,
you.
anyway, yeah. Just not big deal today. What we need to remember, just very straightforward. Just a ni, preformative ni. Okay. And then the secondary clue. What is it? Hirek, shua. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. So that's it. Okay. This one. If I first number are fixed. Okay, what will happen if we are dealing with uh, a first noon verb? So can you imagine? In the beginning, we are going to have the preformative ni for the ni file stem. And then the first root letter is noon. Then is it possible for the Hebrew word to have the same uh, consonant? Okay, so in that case, what will take place? Assimilation. Let's go to our verb chart. Where is So we are supposed to deal with first to noon verb, default stem, and then default hello verbs and first guttural. So after dealing with it, we will come back to this again. I think first yod verb should be dealt with. Is it there? Oh yeah, it's coming. So then remember, we are going to deal with first to noon, first guttural, and first yod verb. So after learning all those important in the diagnostics of the first stem, then we need to move on to different types of weak verb because having even a hollow verb and what we have learned as indicator of Strongbow may not work because of the uniqueness of those weak verbs. So we need to deal with it separately. So let's go to our verb chart. Okay. So then strong verb and first guttural. Hey, look at this. First guttural define. What do we have? We don't have the preformative ni. We have preformative nun, but it doesn't come with the specific vowel points of hirek, e. Why? Because of the first guttural sound, it affects the preceding vowel point. So that's why we have sego instead of hirek. So can you see this? So preformative ne comes. So you need to understand. Okay, if I'm dealing with a first control verb, then having ne in the beginning, then that's the specific diagnostic of Nephi stem. Is that clear? So why is that? Because somehow uh, the expected vowel point should be hirek, shua, and pata. Am I right? But shua is not supposed to be coming under the guttural. We have dealt with this situation many, many times, right? So here it's ain. Ain cannot take shua. That's why we have composite shua. And because of this composite shua, it affects the preceding vowel point, and it has another sego. And but composite shua and then pata. So the vowel point under the second root letter still works. But you need to understand why we have sego and composite shua in the beginning, because this is the first guttural. So now you understand, right? So it's not only ni, but ne for the first guttural letter. Let's move on. We will focus on only a fixed form, but tomorrow and maybe next week we will deal with another form like imperative or principal infinitive construct, and that's really really confusing. So just let's focus on a fixed form. First, aleph is the same. You can consider it as first guttural and first yodba. Let's do this. What can you see? What can you recognize for Nephi? The preformative nun will appear. Okay? But the vowel point for the preformative nun is all different depending on what kind of weak verb we have. Here for the first yod verb, we have holem plene. Holem plene. Do you have any question then? Looking at the presence of holem, then we may have a confusion with what? Can you guess what kind of confusion we can have? Okay, I told you holem in the beginning, especially for the first yudba, is the indicator of he feels them. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? If you are dealing with the he feels them, especially for the first yod verb, then the yod will be replaced by holem plene. Do you remember this? Right. Then how are you going to recognize it successfully? If you are dealing with a first number, okay, and then I mean no first number, but let's say the difference between prefix form 1CSG and 1CPL, because 1CPL first yod verb in the Hebrew stand will also take no in the beginning, isn't it? Let's go to first yod verb. You feel uh, prefix form right there. Here, can you see that? Here, he feel will take no. First yod verb. Can you see that? But there is a difference. What is it? Hirek yod for hifis stem. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you have hirek yod between the second and the third, then dealing with the first yod verb, then you need to see the difference between the hifil stem and nifal stem. Of course, when this prefix form is attached to a verb conversive, then you will not be able to see hirek yod. Why? Because the hirek yod will be shortened. But it will be shortened to either one dot or two dot or three dot. Do you remember this? So this, I think we have this one back down. Must be there, down there. Let's go. Right here, let's look at this. As you can see, this you feel stem, and then verb conversive comes, but it's yod. But just to consider, if we have, as if we have nun, okay, it still carries hirek yod, but hirek yod in the between the second and third becomes what? Three dots, sego, right? So if you have hirek yod between the second and third, then that's hifil. Or together with the verb conversive, and you have one dot or two dots or three dots, which means hirek, tsere, and sego, then it's most likely what? That's hifil first, or hifil first yod verb and prefix form. Is it clear? And at the same time, it's good that we have verb conversive. Then verb conversive cannot come for a fixed form. So then you don't need to be confused. Why? Because 3 MSG of fixed form, the first stem will be confused with this. So then this one must be prefix form. Then you will know, oh, okay, the noon in the beginning cannot be Nifal. So then, anyway, I'm just telling you that there must be a clue that helps us to see the difference between he feel first common plural prefix and 3 MSG nifa. But anyway, let's look at it. Just what is the most important indicator of first yod verb nifa? Then remember, it will come with the free formative no. Okay. So what kind of a free formative have we studied so far in terms of nifa? Ni, ne, no. Ni for the strong verb, ne for the first cultural verb, and no for the first yod verb. Okay. I'm not requiring you to memorize all those things. If you can, do it. But as long as you understand those things, then that will be okay because you will be officially allowed to use your verb. So you need to know what to look. Okay. As long as you can just immediately go to the specific parts or section in your verb chart and double check all the vowel pointings, and you know, okay, this is matched with what you are dealing with in your Simon translation quiz, and that's how it works. Okay, is that clear? Okay, remember for the first yod verb, it will come together with free formative no. Then let's move on. And hello verb, we need to deal with hello verb. Okay, first noon. Let's unify here. Let's look at first noon of fixed form. What can you recognize?
Focus, assimilation.
Right, great. So this one is a first noon verb. It's nagash, right? So you think, oh, I know this noon and gimel and shin. I know this is nagash, but this is strange that it has dot, the dot in the second letter because we have no reason for this. Well, it could be a PL stem. If you can see, you can think like this. Oh, Pastor June, it looks like a PL stem, isn't it? Isn't it? Because it has even E sound. PLEL. Are you following me? And then it has dagesh. But the second root letter is pata. It's not tere. If this one is 3 MSG a fixed form, then it should be appearing with hirek and tere, but it has pata. So you are not supposed to be confused. See now why I told you Nifar is crazy. This is the toughest one. There are a lot of things to consider, right? But anyway, so here, as you can see that it is supposed to be carrying the nun for the preformative ni and then the first nun. So when these nun are appearing, and it should be assimilated. That's why the nun is dropped off for the first root letter nun. It's not preformative nun. So with preformative ni is appearing, but only the first root letter, which is the nun, is assimilated. That's why we have dagesh forte in the middle root letter. Is that clear? So as you can see that without having any specific reason for the PS then, and if you have ni preformative, and then what is this? Assimilation, then that is the indicator of nifal, first to nun. Is that clear? Preformative ni, and then dagesh porte together with what is this? Hata, then you need to think about 3 MSG of fixed first to noon verb nifal. And then okay, let's move on. Middle guttural, it's the same. Hello, Bob. This is the last one. Okay, look at this. Hello, Bob for the nifal will come together with the free formative noon, and the specific vowel point is kamets or shua. One more time. The free formative na or ne will be the most important indicators of hollow verb nifal. So in case of hollow verbs, in the nifal stem, it will be appearing with the specific diagnostics of na or ne. And interestingly, it appears together with this secondary, what is it? The second two letters are appearing. Of course, we have, okay, this word is kum, but the shurek is replaced by holem plene. But they belongs to the same group. So there is at least a constancy there. So uh, if you have, let's say these all root letters, the lexicon form as they are, then I'm always telling you this must be quite special. Because if you go back to hello vocal, then it's not meant to be actually. Let me see. Generally speaking, as I said, this kum, bo, sim, and mut, as you can see that we don't have the second root letter. So whenever you have the second root letter as it is, then that must be quite special. But anyway, what is important about the hello verb ifa? Then the preformative nun, and then hamet or shua under the nun. That's it. Yeah, okay, let's summarize what we have studied today. Before I do it, and I want to make sure you deal with everything. Okay, just finish this. Okay, the first root noon is assimilated into the second root consonant and remains as a dagesh. As so, if you are dealing with first noon verbs, nifal, then what do we expect? The preformative ni and then assimilation in the second root letter. The ni preformative can create a common ambiguity in any type of verbs. In first to noon verb, the third MSG nifal affix can be identical to 1C PL cal prefix form. This is quite challenging. So there is no difference between 3 MSG nifal affix and 1C PL cal prefix form. As I told you about the confusion between these two, it's always 3 MSG. And then I said, since we have the preformative noon, then there is a possibility that one CPL prefix form can be confusing. Do you know? But there was a clear indicator, the difference between them, but not for the first noon verb. So when it comes to the comparison between 3MSD prefix and child prefix 1CPL for the first noon verb, then you need to understand that, oh, these are identical, but not for other cases, only for the first noon verb. Okay? So the context will be the determining factor. And let's deal with hello verbs and first control. As we just checked the verb chart, hello verbs they have na for the shorter PGNs, three-person forms, and ne for the longer PGNs. In terms of pronunciation, now we understand why we have the preformative noon together with the comments and sure. It depends on the pronunciation of the whole verb. Okay, but just you can study like, oh, we may have either na or ne for the hello verb, and that works. Where is the kanae? Kanae. Okay, never mind. All right, and then the longer PGNs have an extra. What is this for? Holland planets level between the root and the affix pronoun. Just to go to your verb chart and then take a look at it. In the first guttural verbs, the free formative is usually pointed ne, na, ni. So ne is the most commonly used one as we studied, but it is also possible that sometimes it will come with na or ni, although it is first guttural. Okay. Vowel under the second root is the same as that of the strong verbs, pata, except in 3 FSC and 3 CPL. First root verb, most of the verbs that we now identify as first root verb were originally first verb. The Nipa stem preformative nun is present. The original verb appears as a planet holem. So we will have no. Okay, for the first root verb. So the preformative no will be coming as the diagnostic of first root verb, Nephi stem. Pata vowel under the second root consonant in all forms except in the 3 FSC and 3 CPL. Nephi prefix form is here. Just you don't need to really remember, but when we are dealing with the Nephi, then the preformative ni should be there. So when the preformative nun is sandwiched by the prefix pronoun like yod and then the first root letter, what simulation must be taking place again? So the most important indicator of the prefix form is the assimilation. Can you see that? So you have assimilation here. Why do you need to have assimilation here if this is not default stem? That's why default prefix form is quite straightforward because we don't have any specific case that the first root letter carries the assimilation, having all those three root letters. Is that clear? Right. So that's why this one must be defined prefix form. So now we know that this one is prefix form because of the prefix pronoun. And then this one must be defined stem. Why? Because of dagesh in the first root letter. Okay. Then everything is done. So that is the indicator. And you need to move on to the secondary clues that are vowel points. But as I said, the assimilation and the prefix together with hirek will be good indicators for prefix form defined. Okay, let's move on. Default imperative. Okay, do not pay too much attention to prefix form or imperative form, just for information, because we are going to deal with those things in detail tomorrow or next week. Okay, but just try to understand how it works generally. Now, the most expected form for Carl's imperative, we have Shua and Holem. Do you remember? Two punch and a punch, right? These are the important indicators. And then E, U, Na ending. But to MSG is always confusing because it has no specific ending. So once again, when you are dealing with three MSG fixed form, then you gotta be careful with infinitive construct form and MSG imperative. Why? Because those things are taking nothing in the beginning and at the end. Okay. So on the left side, we are dealing with Carl. What about then the first stem? See, it comes with he. Hey, come on, Defy. Wake up. You are Defy, but why is it you are coming with he? This is, this is, how can I say? Yeah, crazy. But um, it has, I guess, okay, assimilation. So don't panic. And looking at he in the beginning, then most of you may consider this one as a he feels step. You have temptation. Oh, I know he. Okay, he must be he feel. But if you have what baggage, then that's strange. Why is that we have baggage here? Is there any reason for this? We have three root letters. And why? Why do we have the baggage? Because the noon is assimilated. So don't ask me why we have he here. Just the Hebrew is crazy. Anyway, Hebrew, as I'm telling you, this is the most challenging part. And that's why I told you Nifar is going to be really the toughest one. So don't panic. It's okay. We'll be okay. So he and then assimilation will be the important indicator for Hebrew system, especially imperative form. So it's really unique. Uh, quite unique that Nephi stem takes he in the beginning together with assimilation. So that is for imperative, Nephi imperative. And let's move on. So that's it. Um, Let me see. Anything else? Yeah, just when it comes to all the details of other forms, then we'll be able to take a look at it next time. So today, the most important lessons that we have to remember are that the preformative noun and different kinds of vowel pointing, depending on what kind of weak verbs we are dealing with. Okay, the preformative nun is expected all the time. And okay, then let's do this. Strong verb affix. Then what do we expect? Preformative ni, and then first guttural or first aleph will come with what? You have forgotten already? Ne, nun, and segol. Okay. And what about for the first nun verb? Then
No, no,
first nun verb? I don't think so. That's first yod verb. No is nun together with whole name is for the first yod verb. Is that clear? And then what about for the first nun verb? Ni together with assimilation. Right? That's it. Anything? A hello verb. Hello verb will come with nun with hametz or shua in terms of a fixed form. Is that clear? That's it. So then, nikra, kara, difar, affixed, MSG, none, he was called. Translation. And all the people of the land will see that the name of the Lord was called upon you. KJV. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord. NIV. Then all the people on earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord. Where did you get you? Okay. It's quite it's not really the true translation. NRS, all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord. So that's the one. So then the idea is when you say the name of the Lord will be called upon you, means you are called by the name of the Lord. Okay. Teacher Labaya, assignment, please.
So the assignment is on page 210, number 1, number 2, number 3, and 8. Number 1, 2, 3, and 8. So I've also opened it on Moodle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any question? Teacher Labaya, I'm going to mute you. A noise is coming in from your side, I guess. Thank you. All right, Hebrew scholars, come on. Just a few more days to go, and I told you that it's okay. It's okay for us to be confused because we are supposed to be confused, and we are almost there. Um, Amos, are you trying to telling me something? Amos? No?
No,
Okay.
I'm speaking to my wife. Sorry.
All right. Okay. Because I saw your mouse moving. I think I got confused. You're probably telling me something. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we're almost there. But in terms of our fixed and defined stem, um, just remember the preformative noon and then different kinds of vowel pointing. And for hello verb, first yod verb in the first guttural. And I know, even though we memorize this, and when you are analyzing some verbs appearing together with noon in the beginning, then I think you will be really confused. And that's why you need to spend some time exercising and trying to analyze it properly. So spend a little bit more time for that. I have an important announcement today. Teacher Elabaya and I have agreed not to give you the vocabulary quiz as it was given before. There are several reasons for that, but we are feeling like we better give you the oral placement for the vocabulary quiz. Okay. So you are supposed to really review your old vocabulary, and you will not be asked to take the vocabulary quiz as it has been done so far, which means we allowed you to just download and just do it by yourself and submit it later, but you don't need to do it anymore. And then, as I said, I'm not going to give you any translation quiz at all because we are almost there, and you will be anyway tested in your final exam. So we are going to do the same thing. I think the date is already fixed. If I'm not mistaken, there will be your oral exam for the vocabulary quiz on mm, when was that, Labaya?
I think December 4th.
Yeah, December 4. Let's fix the time. On December 4, you will take your vocabulary quiz the way you did it before. So you remember, I think it's a Quizlet that Stephen made. So teacher Alabaya used it before, right? So you will deal with only 20 vocabulary in your quiz, but you don't know which 20 vocabulary will be coming out of how many? 380?
310, yeah.
380 in total.
Mm.
So please make sure that you review all those vocabulary, okay? So we wanted just to give you enough time for that, but you don't need to take your vocabulary quiz every Friday anymore. And translation quiz is the same. So when you are doing your assignment, please do your best, okay? Please make it perfect, and so that you can increase your GPA. Your grade, the total grade. If you can get a good score in your assignment, then that's good. Do you have any question? All right, good. So, talking about your final exam, before your final exam, I will give you the study guideline, like the way I did before. And then there will be no vocabulary part in your final exam, only grammar and the translation section. Any question? All right,
Is it all on December the 4th?
December 4.
The,
Yeah, I
the
think so.
oral and
So,
the translation together, yeah.
you mean the translation quiz?
Yes.
No, 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 no. December 4 will be just for the vocabulary quiz. And
Okay.
you have the, what is the special schedule for the final exam on the
I think
following week. It's 9, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
I think it's December 9.
Yeah, December
Okay.
9. And then
Mm.
please check the time. I think it must be posted somewhere or sent to you. If you don't know
Mm.
about the time, then let me know. I will let you know, okay? There is a specific schedule for your final exam on December 9.
Mm.
Would it be okay, Pierce? Don't you have any problem?
No, it should be fine. Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
drop a week
okay.
off.
Just
Yeah,
let
cool.
me know
Thank
if
you.
you have any conflict or problem when it comes to the schedule.
I
All
think
right,
it's in
Hebrew
the
people, I know you are getting busier working on your final papers and assignment and preparing yourself for the final exam, but be happy. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. May God continue to bless your life today, and see you tomorrow.
yeah. Sajun
Right?
Kim,
Yeah.
the exam is 1 to 4 p.m. December 9th.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it's confirmed.
yeah,
1,
to
2,
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Unless
here.
something changes.
Mhm.
Unless
All right.
something changes before then, the exam is on that day, December 9, 1 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. See you tomorrow. God
Okay.
bless you.
Okay. God
Thank you,
bless.
sir. God
Thank you, sir.
bless.
Mm. Okay.